a level of sadistic evil like that of these Islamic terrorists has not been common in history. As I write in my column that I'm writing for tomorrow's publication, the Nazis have a successor. Tragically, the word Nazi has become so overused, like the word racist, and so many other terms: misinformation, genocide, threat to democracy, existential threat. These terms should be reserved for the actual thing. Well, this is the actual thing. These are Nazis. I'll talk to you about the support that the Nazis have on the part of academics in the United States. And in case you were in doubt as to the moral cesspool the university has become, this should be proof. LA Times has a piece today calling, what is it, the new old nonsense of, let all sides return to a peaceful world. And I mean, it's the inability to recognize evil. Yeah, here it is. Is there a sustainable path forward? Yeah. And what has happened should be clear to anyone who cares about truth. Hamas has inherited this generation's annihilate the Jew vision. I wrote a book 40 years ago, Why the Jews? It's in its 3rd edition. If you want to understand what happened this weekend, read Why the Jews. Among other things, it has a chapter on Islamic anti-Semitism, which is a euphemism for Jew hatred, for Jew annihilation. And it has a chapter on anti-Zionism. This was the way in which the world of those who wish to destroy the only Jewish state has hidden behind the fact that it is an annihilationist vision, exterminationist, to use a term that was coined with regard to the Holocaust. See, there is no hatred like Jew hatred, never has been, because it is exterminationist. There are a lot of groups that have been hated, a lot of religious groups, ethnic groups, racial groups, but it is very rare that the hater seeks to exterminate the group. Iran wishes to exterminate Israel. And for those who think it's just confined to Israeli Jews, there are so many reminders that that is not the case. Remember when the Islamic terrorists left from Pakistan and they went into India, and on their way to commit atrocities there, they slaughtered a rabbi in Mumbai? Why did they stop for a rabbi and his wife? Slaughtered them both. There's evidence that they tortured them first. Why did they do that? What does a rabbi in Mumbai have to do with enmity towards Hindus? Well, it's like the Crusaders on their way to the Holy Land decided to massacre the Jews of Germany. There has always been, and that is the phrase that I have cited so often from the Passover service. In the Passover service, the Seder, as it is known to many, there is the book called the Haggadah. I have a commentary on the Haggadah. It's like my commentary on the Bible. They're called the Rational Haggadah. Explains a great deal. There is a line in there that is probably at least 2,000 years old. The Haggadah is 1,000 years old, and the line is probably 2,000 years old, maybe older than that. In every generation, somebody rises to annihilate us. And the Hebrew is to annihilate, to put an end to us, not to persecute us, not even to kill us, not to enslave us, but to end us. Anyone who is pro-Hamas is equivalent to anyone who is pro-Nazi during the Holocaust. There is no difference. There is no difference. There was no attack on military. There was only an attack on Jews. Jewish grandmothers were murdered or captured. See the picture of the 85-year-old woman being whisked away by Hamas? For the Jew hater, the 85-year-old grandmother and the 1-year-old toddler or baby is as much an enemy. The Nazis exterminated families, whole families. That's what Hamas did. They paraded the naked body of a woman that they murdered. I don't know what else they did. Turns out to have actually been a German tourist who was at this music festival where they massacred about 235 young people, wounded God knows how many others. Israel has 7 million Jews. The United States has about 350 million people. So 7 million into 35. What is 7 into 35? No, 50. 350. I'm wrong. So it's 7 into 350 is 50. Yeah. So it's approximately equivalent. Let's say 1,000 Jews were murdered. So that would be equivalent to 50,000 Americans. We rightly regard 9/11 as a modern Pearl Harbor. Can you imagine what 50,000 would be? That was 3,000. Entire families were wiped out. Mother, father, and children. You have to see the videos of the celebrations in Gaza, where they had bodies, or at least this body of this woman, which they kept beating. The dead body they would keep beating. The Palestinians essentially have produced nothing. What they have produced very well is a hatred the likes of which does not have a parallel. Not all Palestinians by any means, but it's like not all any group, not all Germans supported the Nazis. But it was fair to speak about the Germans as a statement in the 1930s and 40s until the war was over, understanding that not every German is being included. Part of the hatred of Israel is that it did take the same exact area and make it blossom. One of the great stories in the Bible is a story where I believe it was Isaac who was able to dig wells and become somewhat wealthy as a result. And these people came by, and instead of learning how to dig wells, they stuffed up Isaac's well. That's the story of those who produce and those who destroy. The destroyers hate the producers.